Hello, hello. It is Monday afternoon. We are going to tackle battle perks. I just set up the tasks earlier today, but I haven't actually done any of them yet. So we're going to get started on this. This is the old bricklaying, one brick at a time. I'll spawn some text up there if anyone wants to read about that. False, it's 10 p.m. Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, so then you're 9 hours ahead of me, Galaxy Inferno. Which means you're somewhere in Europe, probably. Statistically, you're more likely to be in Europe based on my audience. All right, so rename existing tab. So we need a new tab. Unlock town perks. Unlock perks. It's not even called unlock perks. Why did I? It's choose perks. What was I even thinking? Choose town perks and choose battle perks. There we go. Yup. All right, I figured. I am a sleuth. Choose perks. Okay. That is in the town menu. There's the container for this. Here it is. It's just called choose perks. Okay, I see. We need to say choose town perks. And then we got to rename everything, don't we? Okay, so choose town perks. That should fix that. And then choose perks panel should be the choose town perks panel. Another double stream. Yeah, pretty much every Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a double stream. Hey, Flair. Hey, Turbo Dave. I try to use this notation in the title of half days representing that's the afternoon. So yeah, if you just look at how many halves there are on here, there's 18. And that's only because after a certain number of days, they stop showing you VODs. So you can see VODs expire after some amount of time. But yeah, I've been using this notation now for quite a while. Rarely will I stream right through lunch. Sometimes I have a lunch that I can prepare and eat in like 5 or 10 minutes. But most of the time I take my time with it so I actually get a proper break. Okay, so we need a new panel. This is going to be the choose battle perks panel. And then pretty much everywhere we have this, we got to go change this. So this will be battle perks. Looks good. In challenge mode, if it's... Wait a second, what? If gameplay is equal to challenge mode, set this to be visible. I see, yeah. All right, same thing. And then change this to battle. And change that to battle. Cool. That is not all we have to do, though. There is something more. And I don't know what this something more is just yet. So here we have choices in a buy perk. This is the choose perks panel tab. Is there anything town specific about this? Please tell me there isn't. Yes, there is. Well, we're going to need to set up inheritance for this. Let's worry about that in a little bit. For now, how about this? Let's make a new thing. No, you know what? Let's just have the same town perks thing show in both places. Add this, so get, or like, choose perks panel tab. Choose perks panel tab. Split this into 2 classes. All right, so this has been done. This has been sort of kind of done. But I'm missing something here. There's got to be a way to open this. I don't know. Oh, I think I know. We got to put it in here, don't we? Yeah, choose perks panel tab. Okay, so we got to make a choose battle perks panel tab. And then panel tab container needs that. Choose perks battle tab. Oh, even this needs to be renamed. Town perks panel. And then we make a battle perks panel. Wonder how I missed this one. This should be battle. Any other things? Initialize it. Sure. And then town perk choices changed. Yeah. Battle perk choices are going to change differently. Is anything accessing this outside of here? No. Okay, can we just run this? Let's see. It runs. Can I go to that tab? It should look just like the other tab. Yeah, it does. And if I click this, it should change on both of them. It didn't change over here. I don't think that's a problem though. But I'm not totally sure why that didn't work. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Strange. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, very strange. Why would that happen? If I click this one, it might not even be worth debugging this because this is a made up situation. We're not supposed to have duplicated tabs, but I am curious why the duplicated tab wouldn't work. Let's see if we can find out. Maybe there's a listener that's missing. Like we only update this somewhere. But I don't see any problems with that. Oh, here it is. Update from perk choices. Okay, so we'd have to do this with the battle ones too. And then I think everything would be fine. But as mentioned, this is pointless. There was academic curiosity that caused me to look into this. We're going to have two different tabs. Right now, they're just the same tab in two different spots. So yes, now it works. And if I pick one of these things, it should also, yeah, nice, okay. Yeah, so that's pointless. All right, so add the tab, we've done that. Now split into two classes. We'll need to do that next. Add a buy perk button, which costs sludge. Yeah, let's go check this in. So we added a new tab. We don't want to check this part in. We do want this. There's nothing too crazy about this. Yep. And that's fine too. Cool. So add battle perks panel. It's just a copy of the town one, so it's not actually doing anything interesting yet. Now to get it to do something interesting. All right, let's take a look at this. So the choose perks panel tab, we have choices and we have a buy perk button. This is already generic. The part that's not generic is the script. The script here requires that we pass in town perk choice trackers, and we need a battle perk choice tracker. Although even then, maybe we don't. What's special about this? There's a cost. The cost is in gold or in sludge. The rest of it looks fine. There's nothing, well, I guess this is technically different. We could, I mean, these inherit from the same class, so they could use that. This needed, we could cast, I guess. Is there a reason to do this? Well, what else are we doing here? We're instantiating one of these, which is just perk choice. That's generic, I'm pretty sure. Sound like words that are too long for Scrabble. You'd get a lot of points. Hey, Decap, how you doing? I've watched some competitive Scrabble. It is mind-blowing if you've only ever played Scrabble casually. Like, some faint part of me knew that there must have been competitive Scrabble, but I didn't understand what went into it. You essentially memorize the entire dictionary for whatever language you're doing, and it's not even a guarantee you know the language. There's apparently someone out there who didn't know French, who spent like 6 or 8 weeks learning the entire French dictionary for Scrabble, and then like winning a championship or something. But then you also need to know the probabilities of all the letters coming up, what words your opponent might use, how to block them off, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's very interesting. A pretty big advancement in HIV prevention. Yeah, I read about that at lunchtime. I think it's interesting. I didn't read the details though. Hey, Vibe Hub. Competitive Scrabble's hype. It's cool to watch the, what is it, like the summary videos. I haven't actually watched a live tournament or anything. I don't know if that would be fun. Hey, Wendy, how you doing? So they translate pretty well to a spelling bee. Yeah, probably. In fact, I'd say Scrabble is probably well, it's not really a superset of spelling bee skills. For one, I don't know if they're adult spelling bees, but two, a spelling bee uses the entire dictionary, sometimes different languages. Although I guess they'd appear in the dictionary, just different etymology. Yeah. Anyway, interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch a lot of competitive things. Even speedrunning, for example. I'm just blown away by the dedication of the speedrunning community at large. Just just take any game and just break it into oblivion. Makes you almost completely immune. Oh, nice. It's kind of cool to think that some things that have plagued humanity, quite literally, are just not even problems anymore. Oblivion's already broken. I've never played a lot of the Elder Scrolls series, just Skyrim, and I wasn't like a huge fan of it. All right, so split into two classes is still questionable whether I should even do this. Perk choice is generic. It's just a description and a button. So that part's fine. Then what do we do here? Based on what we've chosen, we do something different. I think this script is going to change. I just don't know if we need a different scene. I'm not even positive this has to change. Maybe this could just emit an event that says which perk you've chosen. In this case, it's a town perk. But we could do some casting here. I feel like that's kind of dumb. I don't know. Sometimes they're quite intense. Oh, the other thing that's kind of tough with any of that sort of thing is if you play a game casually, pretty much any game casually, and there's a high skill ceiling to it, and you play against someone who's playing competitively, I don't think it's generally fun for either player usually. Like, no one wants to get totally stomped at playing a game, especially if they're not trying to become competitive. And the person who's competitive wants to play with someone who's kind of a challenge at least. Or at least they shouldn't be your friend. Like, I don't mind destroying people at a video game if it's in a tournament. Then I'm like, well, you knew it was on the line. But yeah, if I'm playing against a friend and I'm like 10 times better than they are at something, it's not generally fun. So yeah, the current thing I'm debating on is, should we, like, we have perk choice and then town perk choice and battle perk choice. Should we have a generic perk chooser UI and then cast to the right types? Or should we just make two subclasses of perk chooser UI? I'm leaning toward the latter. Yeah. Rabies, measles. Wasn't smallpox a thing? Last naturally occurring case of smallpox was diagnosed in 1977. Yeah, jeez. Polio, I think. All right. So, yeah, let's do this. So choose perks panel tab. We're going to go make a new scene. Although it's going to be the exact same scene, just with a different script, right? I guess that's fine. So let's instantiate a thing. I never know where this stuff is. Show in file system. It is in here. Let's just copy the path. That way we can find the scenes, panels, choose perks panel tab. So scenes, panels, choose perks panel tab. This one. Okay, and let me call this choose town perks panel tab. And save that in the same place. Choose town perks. Whoops. And then do the exact same thing. Instantiate, choose perks, save as, choose battle perks. Save that. Hate competitive board games because my friends make the effort to show up. I don't want to spend my time trying to get them to lose. Yeah, yeah. And you might think like, oh, well, cooperative games are better, right? But even then, it's not really a lot of the times. Because there's got to be the same level of difficulty. Not, sorry, the same level of difficulty. The game has one level of difficulty, but then each player wants different levels of difficulty. So some games have like a handicap way of doing that. I don't know. Just generally want to play with people who are the same-ish skill level as you. All right, so now we want two different scripts. So the root class probably shouldn't even have a script. Or, let me look at this. Choose perks panel tab. Or we save this as like choose town perks panel tab and choose battle perks panel tab. I'm still not totally set on this. All right, so this is going to inherit from this. I don't even know what it's going to do yet. Figure this out. And then this one's going to inherit from this. Yeah, so we put the base class on the left, we put the town one in the middle, and we put the battle one on the right. We're going to need to make these look a little bit different now. And I got to think of how this is going to work exactly. So add perk choice. This takes in a particular tracker. And then sets visibility and sets the cost. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's figure it out. Let's also set the scripts before I forget. I always forget to do this part. Choose perks. So this one is the town version. Cannot instantiate the scene because the current scene exists. Oh, whoops, I dragged the wrong thing. Wait a second. Does that mean that I could have done this by doing that? Could I do this? Did that do what I wanted it to do? I think it did. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. It's a much easier way than having a path to this thing. You can just drag the scene into a new scene and it'll inherit from that base scene. I'm going to forget that. But if I didn't forget that, that would be wonderful. Let's see if I can embed that in my memory just by talking about it enough right now. All right, so choose battle. By the way that this works with other things, if you already have a node in the scene and you click this button, it lets you path to something by just typing it in. So I could type choose and it'll find the 3 things I want. But if you don't have anything there and you click that button, you can't just type it in. You have to go through your whole project. Unless one of these buttons does that. No, not really. Not the same way, at least. Right in one of your documents. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not going to ever search for this tip again, probably. Maybe I'll write it down. Inherit. Scene inheritance? Why is this here twice? Make a new scene and instantiate a scene into it without having a root node. Oh, I could check that this is actually working the way I expect it to by doing this. Yeah, inherits. Nice. Okay, so how do we do this? Tip, call out. Tip, test. Yeah, nice. Okay, so tip, you can drag a .tscn file from, what is this called? The file system. Directly onto an empty scene to set up this inheritance more easily. Look at that nice call out that I'm never going to read. You can drag scripts from the file system on the hierarchy. Yeah. So that's what I end up doing to set these. It's a little easier than clicking attach because you can use this thing to filter them first. So this is the battle one, which I still don't know if I've actually even done this. This one goes here. And then whoops, I'm in the wrong scene. That's why none of this is going to work. All right, so we put that there. And then we put the town one over here. Cool. And then the root scene has the base. Yep. All right. So this looks good. Buy perk now needs to be a protected virtual void buy perk. Yeah, and then none of this exists in here. I guess not. So delete all of that. So now the town version will have this. And virtual turns into override. Then I guess we'll put the same thing in here. But we will just write gd.print, or maybe just throw an exception, throw new not implemented exception. I didn't code this. There. All right, what else do we need here? So this should go higher up in the file. That's fine. Okay, so ready, looks good. That is buy perk. That's going to call into this, which is virtual. The buy button is totally fine. Next up, init. We set the town, which presumably we're going to need to be protected. Protected town get private set. We rename this to capitalize T town. And then rename all of these things. And this too. And then delete these lines. And this stuff as well. I guess even ready and probably init. All right, we're getting there. Now what? Do we ever need choices container in the child classes? Free children and then add. I think this should be encapsulated in the base class here. So I think what we'll do is we'll make, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? It's easier to just cut corners right now. All right, let's make a protected void, like clear choices. Yeah. So this, I meant to put an S at the end of that. But all we really care about, we could have the base function do this, update from perk choices, and this would take in a perk choice tracker, not a town perk choice tracker. And the town version casts it because it knows what it's going to get. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if this even needs to take in the tracker. We could just fetch it from the town. Yeah, in which case we wouldn't do this at all. So this calls clear choices. I don't even know if it's worth making that protected. All right, let's delete all this. I don't know. Trailer creation advice. I had this whole idea in my head and then I opened video editing software for the first time and realized I'm not actually instantly an expert. Very shocking experience. I had the same thing happen a while ago. I think polished game trailers are hard to make because it's not just showing off the gameplay. Typically there are transitions, there's sounds, music, any text you might want to show. And then there's custom game code you usually have to write to get everything to look good. Like for the Botland trailer, I have, let me mute this. This right here, this was done through code, not through my video editor. So I had to write something that would like pick every cosmetic part and color it a certain color and then like scroll one this way, scroll the other one that way and show different combinations at the top. So that's something to consider for game trailers, at least. You probably want some like custom scene that's set up perfectly. Then there are other little things when it comes to game trailers. Like you don't always want to show your UI with maximum money and like max level characters and stuff. You want it to look kind of like a real game is being played out. So like fudge the numbers a little bit that you might have. Yeah, like I said, don't just show every single character at max or with skill points to spend. And anyway, as far as the video editing itself, it's kind of like any sort of art form where you would look at what other people do and see, okay, what seems to fit for my thing? How do I accomplish that? How do I bridge the gap between what I know now and what I have to do? Like, can you do it in a cheaper way? But yeah, at the end of the day, I think the easiest thing to do is kind of like what I did for the Skeleseller trailer. It's some basic text on top of some video clips with some easy transitions in the middle. Why does this look low resolution? Huh. At least that battle scene did. Why did that look bad? Yeah, so I think that one's pretty basic. It's a pretty easy way to do one. You could also just ask AI to make a video. Potentially that could be good. Or at least a good starting point. Okay, so update from perk choices. We're going to call the base class here, which means we don't need to, is it even base? Which means you don't need this, I guess. We don't need this now. And it kind of means that this can just be public, or private, I mean. Let's make it private until I realize I need something else. All right, what else? So free children, we don't do anything here. We just call the base. Did I modify the wrong thing? This needs to be virtual then. And this needs to be overridden, as does this. All right. Don't prefix calls with what? Oh, this isn't correct. All right, so now we get the town perk choice tracker, which is here. Let's just save this thing when it gets initialized. There's no reason not to do this. So now the buy perk button, we want to set this to visible based on how many choices there are. Won't be doing that part. Rest is good advice. Yeah, yeah. And it's just for ideating too, I think. I think releasing an AI trailer is not a great idea. Do people actually buy games based on a trailer often, or is the buying decision mostly via watching YouTubers and streamers play? Is this different for huge game franchises versus small indie games? It's hard to say for me how much a game trailer would affect buying the game, but I think it does affect some people. If you play games at all and you go to Steam, think of how you browse Steam. So let's say I click some game that I don't know, this, let's say. Is this muted? Yeah, okay. So I might watch a little bit of the trailer, but in general, I think what people have found is that they will heavily skim through this trailer by doing this. So like I might have literally only taken 3 seconds to go through 40 seconds of the video. This is what some people will do to be like, okay, what's gameplay look like? Okay, cool, got it. And then they might look at the reviews, maybe the little blurb, maybe the price, and then like make a decision based on some combination of that stuff. And if they still need convincing, maybe read this, maybe read some of the reviews. What I tend to do is actually look at the negative reviews a lot of times and see what are people complaining about. So the trailer probably does help, but I don't know how much it helps. Yeah, like I think if you didn't have a trailer, you could still make a successful game. But yeah, how much is it boosting your sales or something by? All right, so update from perk choices. We're calling into clearing this thing and then doing this. And then we want to, I guess, set up the buy button correctly. The text of this is based on the cost of the next perk. So this thing needs to know about a perk choice tracker, which means it should probably be initialized with the perk choice tracker so that we don't do any of this stuff either. But then it needs to be a certain kind of perk choice tracker, right? Yeah. All right. I watch more streamers in YouTube than I game, so I figured it might not be normal. No, I don't think it's abnormal to do that. Also, just look at the number of views on some of these videos, right? Like people get tens of thousands of views playing a game. Some of those people are interested in the streamer or interested in watching the game, but then some of those people are interested in playing the game eventually. Usually I'm looking for what the UI looks like in the trailer, see if the game looks annoying. Well, also sometimes I don't think trailers are always trying to be deceptive, but sometimes they're deceptive. I remember I bought a game called, I think it was called, no, not Power Stone. Oh God, what was that game called? I know Power Stone is the name of a game. It's a Dreamcast game, but I'm thinking of a Game Boy. Oh God, I don't. Power Quest, Power Quest. This game. Okay, so I remember buying this because of the box art, because the main character looked like Mega Man. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like Mega Man. This game is nothing like Mega Man. This is a fighting game. Even the screenshot, you could, well, no, this looks like a fighting game here too. But I was gonna say some of this, they had like a world map or something. Anyway, that sort of thing can happen with trailers too, where you're like, oh, it's an RPG. They're probably gonna have like this system or this system in it, and then you buy it, and it's like, oh, it's a very casual RPG. They really simplified this stuff. Hey, Neil Cromer. Early days are rough for trying to buy a game. I don't know. It was kind of cool. You had to lean on other media. I remember Nintendo Power magazine and how much I looked forward to getting new issues of that, and it ceased to exist now, which is a real shame, I think. Okay, so I think what we should have here is a, what is it called? A perk choice tracker? Yeah. And this will be set to null. It'll have a get private set here, I guess. Although actually, will it? Yeah, I guess it will. And then in init, we should pass one of these in. It should know how to do the rest of this for me. Well, it kind of did. Then we got to change the rest of this stuff. Getting one of my favorite games randomly because of what I saw on the cover. Kind of like anime tanks. Yeah, well, the other thing too about at least lifelike characters, I think people who grew up in the hey 3D games are just coming around kind of times rather than they've been around for 20 years. I think you have a memory of the first 3D games being lifelike, but they definitely weren't. I bet a lot of people who played Final Fantasy VII on the PS1 probably thought, "Oh my god, graphics will never get better than this." And now you look at the graphics and you're like, "What was I thinking?" But yeah, at some point, this is just, it was a level above whatever you're used to seeing. And that was cutting edge. All right, so now we save these things off. We can get rid of this. And the rest of this should work, except for it doesn't because I coded this stupidly. Yeah, we need these things to be inside the base class now. In fact, probably all of this should be inside the base class. Oh, it can't. It can't be. Oh, man. Well, it kind of can be, but I got to change some of this. All right. Let's just copy these things over here. So town perk choice would go away. This is just perk choice. Why does this not exist? It does. It's in a different... Wait, what? It's in a different namespace? Is that a thing? That doesn't sound right. Challenge mode dot choices. This is in... It's in challenge mode? Why did I do that? Oh, God. Okay. Whoops. Ah, oh, darn it. All right. This is... this is not good. It's challenge mode choice is what I want. Okay. And I guess the same thing here. And then we delete this. We're probably looking good. Hey, Devil Dog. Never seen something with such amazingly high resolution graphics. I don't think I've heard of this. Oh, Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah. I just didn't know by the acronym or initialism. Any art, you just need to have something that sparks interest for you. Yeah, that's true. But sometimes you like the artwork and you realize that you don't like the game. I can't totally comment on this because I haven't played the game, but Yoshi's Woolly World. I like the art style on this, but the gameplay looked like it was a little too casual for me. But like that's a really, really solid art style. It doesn't even look like a game. Looks like it's just real life. Okay, so I guess we're deleting all of this. All right, what else do we need to do to make everything work? Add perk choice takes in a perk choice tracker and then a town perk choice tracker. And a challenge mode perk. Challenge perk choice, challenge mode choice. Ooh, I don't like the look of that. I don't like the look of that at all. This is town perk choice before, which is what inherited from challenge mode choice. Yeah. Wow, just rearranging this stuff to be in the right spots, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So we make a perk choice now. When chosen, we do a whole bunch of things based on the choice having been a town perk choice. All right. Town choice. And then fetch these things. It's just the ability ID is all I care about, right? Then we try to add this. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff I gotta fix. Isn't hardcore enough? You ever seen Platypus? Used to play so much of that game. No, I don't think so. Yeah. Trying to think what blew me away recently, semi recently, was the first Final Fantasy VII remake. I remember in the first game, there's the Shinra building, and it's just a place where they advance the plot. You've got some battles, you know, it looks like all the other environments in the game. But then in the first episode of the remake, I was like, it just blew me away that they took this building that just was otherwise kind of forgettable to me, and they brought it to life completely. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. This isn't even supposed to be the incredible part of the game. But it was cool exploring that building and seeing how they did how they just set up the world building for that. Build out of pictures of clay models. Oh, like Clay Fighter, 63 and a third. Is that the game was called? Yeah, 63 and a third. Okay, so we try adding directly to the choices container. I think all we want to do is change something based on this thing being chosen. How do we even get a description here? It has its own way of doing this. So we just need to listen for this, like perk choice was added. Yeah. Which means I should just copy paste all this. This is private though. Where was this called from before this? In update. Oh man. All right. I have to think about this. Am I into MTG? No, I'm not. Although I did see there's a Chocobo card. There's like a 4-letter name of whoever owns it. MTG Chocobo. And I like the look of that. I don't remember what it's called. Where is it? It's someone's Chocobo. Maybe Bing is just bad. I don't know what it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Saj. Said it was 4 letters. I'm just gonna remember the name. Yeah. The little tiny Chocobo. All right, so the way this typically had worked is we called update from perk choices, and then from here we figured out what to add. Let's see. I think you're probably delayed, Neochromer, on the stream, just based on your responses to the stream itself. You might want to refresh. So we call add anything after adding it. There's nothing special about this, I think. To the point where I think this could all be done here. Okay, let's try it out. Okay, looks good. This shouldn't be this way though. This should be challenge mode choice. So add them all. So delete this. This doesn't need to be virtual, I guess. We can just make it void. And then whenever something was added, we want to call into this so that we can say, so that we can add a chosen thing to it. Added perk choice. So this would be public override void this with a choice. Ooh, wait, we can't do that. We need it to be, oh man, come on, really? Maybe this is another poor abstraction that I had done. When we add one of these things, we have a perk choice, which we then need to listen to. But it doesn't know what the challenge mode choice is. Maybe it just should know. There's a description in there. Yeah. That's what we should know. Okay, fine. Ugh. I'm changing so much. I don't want to change all this. So init is going to take in a challenge mode choice. It's going to set this thing based on the choice. And then it should store this somewhere. public challenge mode choice. And put this here. Okay. And now this takes in a perk choice. Perk choice. From which we get that. But then there's a tracker here. The name does not exist. No. You exist. There you go. I brought you into existence. Okay. We're almost there. We are almost there. Public virtual. Now this is called here. All right. I think we're looking good. Yeah. Oh, okay. No errors in this file. No errors in, well, except for those. No errors in this file. Except for, is this needed? What does buy perk do? Nothing there. In here, it's used so that we can fetch the right tracker. We already have the tracker. What are we doing with this then? Just cost of next perk. Oh, but it checks money in this case. And we don't use the tracker for anything else? We use it for generate choices. I'm torn here. Yeah, I'm torn here. Remove this unnecessary cast. Well, it's definitely necessary. Yeah. This doesn't need to be... This doesn't need to be cast. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter if it's cast or not. All right, whatever. Good, cool, great. Now, this stuff, added perk choice. So we're going to need to do something on here, but it's not going to be anything right now. On chosen, we'll just say gd.print. You chose a perk. Hope it's good. And this needs to have this signature. And then we just delete everything else. Yep. Okay. Now we're going to try to run this. It's going to break because I need to update callers somewhere. And it's just easier to let it break and tell me than for me to find it myself. So now we can just go through all of these. So this is set perk choices. This takes in a list of choices. Cannot convert from town perk choice to challenge mode choice. Challenge mode choice. Cannot implicitly convert from a list of town perk choice to a list of challenge mode. Wait, what? Why? What am I missing here? I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know why this is failing. Oh, let's ignore that one for now. Look at the other ones. All right, so what is this? No overload matches perk choice tracker. Yeah. Lunch was for what? Like, what did I have for lunch? I had some ramen. It's just my quick go-to. Like, I just didn't want to prepare anything else. And you got first. Congrats. Update from perk choices. So this used to take in a tracker, now it doesn't need to, which means this doesn't even need to pass one in anymore. Which means this doesn't need the thing to be passed in. So this is pointless. All right, what's next? These need to be initialized with a particular tracker. To make this into a battle perk tracker. It's already 44 minutes in. Yeah, there are only a few people who ever cared about it. Probably because if you weren't here in the first minute, it would always be claimed. So then no one afterward would ever even see it. Oh, hey, you, Alex. Sorry, I missed your message. You seen a recent post on Game Dev on messaging YouTubers for marketing? Might be interesting. Do you mind linking it to me? Sorry, I had missed your message. Okay, we're gonna try running this again. And actually, let me copy paste it just in case you're no longer here. Okay. All right, so now what's the problem here? No, that's the one I couldn't figure out yet. Let's figure this one out. Easy. Okay, so why is this failing? It's saying it can't convert the type. They're both lists, and town perk choice inherits from challenge mode choice. So I'm not sure why that's not working. If I were to just do, excuse me, this, where I say challenge mode choice, C equals new town perk choice, AC eligible perks, that's valid, right? Yeah, why can't I make a list of those? I'm missing something here. Just read that post. Can you link it to me? I'll look it up myself if no one does link it, but it'll be a little easier. Yeah, I'm not sure what's failing here. Maybe it's because the to list doesn't know what type of list it is. Is there a way to genericize this? There is? Challenge mode choice? Oh, well, that's easy. I thought it would automatically do that. Thank you. Yeah. Read this. Afternoon. Morning. Cool. Yeah, I've emailed... I don't know how many, but close to 100 people so far, I think. And I think the biggest thing I just learned is re-engagement is important, like super important. I sent 9 follow-up emails yesterday. I've heard back from 3 people already. And yeah, these were people that if I just hadn't sent a follow-up email, maybe they never would have cared or would have ignored the email or something that I'd originally gotten. So I am slowly learning this stuff myself. All right, now the game should build. It should work the way that it used to. I haven't changed anything. I just set up for being able to add another tab here. Just automate the whole thing. Email sales is rough. I was thinking with AI, it would be easy enough to automate it all. You could even have AI go like watch their videos. You know, it could summarize them. I'm not saying view bot. I'm saying just like, oh, hey, I saw in this video you talked about this. Well, Skeleseller would be great for you then because of, you say a bunch of reasons, but like you never typed any of this stuff. You didn't even look at their channel. I wonder if it's going to put some of these businesses out of business who only really have email lists of YouTubers right now because AI can also fetch their emails. Okay, let's try this out. So we have the 2 tabs. If I click buy perk, nothing happens. So I've almost certainly broken something. And what about if I click it over here? Nothing happens. Well, this has been fun. Where's the buy perk button? Choose perks panel tab. Buy perk. All right, are we calling the right thing? It should call into this. This can go up here. Which then for the town perks panel tab, buy perk is overridden. Is this not being called? I'd find it unlikely. It is so likely that it's happening. This is again something I'm not totally understanding then. We call this, right? There were no errors. Yeah, we're calling this. Buy perks button when it's pressed. I wonder if we're overriding that. Strange. Are we not calling the base ready function? No, we have to be. There's no overridden version of that here either. Maybe I'm not instantiating the right type of thing. That is very possible. Okay. Yeah, that's very possible. I never changed this, did I? Nope. Wow. Wow. All right. And then was this one changed? Also no. Well, we've learned a valuable lesson today. Don't trust myself. All right, so let's call this old and let's call this one old so that when we instantiate the new ones in, we can just copy paste their old names. So choose perks. So we need the town one and then we need the battle one. All right, so put that there. put that. What's going on? Put that there. Arrange them like that. So town is first, battle is second. The name should be exactly the same. No, this one didn't have town in the name. Okay, so we got to put town in the name in code. And then we got to make these selected uniquely. But town has to go in code. What is that thing called? It's called a panels tab container. Choose perks. So town needs to go there. Okay, now it should all work. So we've spent the last, I don't know, 40 minutes basically doing what we had already done. But the new thing that we do, and it still isn't working, is going to make this easier. Okay, so does this have the right type now? It should. Is the script correct? Yes. Hey, LA, how you doing? What am I missing? What am I missing? It's not marked override? It is. Strange. Okay, let's set a breakpoint here. Maybe it's being hit and then something else is going wrong. Oh, it is. Okay, good. Okay, we've already made progress. So now this is failing, I'm guessing. What's the cost? Cost is 50. Money is 50. So we call generate choices, which then modifies the tracker, which now nothing is apparently listening to, I bet. So skip all that, go into here, see what is calling this. What's listening to this now? On town perk changed. Choose town perks panel, update from perk choices. So is this being called? Yes. Everything seems fine so far. It's not adding the choices in though. Are there choices here? There are 3, yeah. What? What am I missing? Is there, oh, there are exceptions. Okay, that's what I'm missing. Okay, so perk choice can't be init. Perk choice line 27, because it's trying to access something on town. Choice.get description, because this hasn't been set for... No, we're initializing with a null object. Okay, let's put a breakpoint there. Unpivot a table. Send kittens and cookies. Okay, wait. Do I have a new cat picture? No, I only have the old cat picture I can share. And I can't send cookies. All right, well, whatever. I'll share a different old cat picture. There. It's Abby in a little sunbeam curled up against the door. Love that cat. Okay, let's put a breakpoint there and try this out. And it should go into init. Perfect. And the choice is null. It's not null. Town perk choice. Doesn't have a description. Choice.get description. Okay, something else is wrong then. What happened again? Perk choice line 27. Oh, the description label doesn't exist because this hasn't been added yet. Oh, how did I break that? Oh, the call stack would be pretty helpful. How do you navigate to this? It's not going to line 60. You're going to make me type in a 60 here? Really? That is cute. Do I have the other picture of her open over here? No, I don't. All right. Look at that. We got it. Okay. So now I should be able to pick one of these. What will we see that's actually obvious? I guess this one's pretty obvious. So if I get item stacking, actually, if we don't get item stacking and I do this, items are only showing in singles. But then if I click this, now they should show up in doubles. Yeah. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad indeed. And now we can allow stacking even further. And we can stack up to 3 now. Whew. All right. Wow, that was tough. All right, so add a buy perk button which costs sludge. Let's go do that. Battle perk. What's it called? Battle panel. This one. Buy perk, not implemented. We're about to implement it. Yeah, let's just copy paste all this. except for now the cost is going to be interpreted as a sludge cost. And then there should be a modify sludge. This doesn't exist. How do we, what? How do we do this? Oh, is it just a settable thing? Yeah, it is. So it's not modify, it's just sludge. Minus equal cost. Why is that still failing? Can't convert from long to int. This has to be an int? Oh, man. I mean, I guess we can just make this an int here. Now you might be like, Adam, won't you lose precision if this goes beyond whatever the 4-byte value is? And the answer is we're not going to let that happen. Also, it's very low risk because we're talking about costs in a game. So like, let's say the costs go by 50 every time. The odds of you getting to like, whatever it is, 10 billion or something is 0. All right. So now we generate these for the battle perks. Battle perk choice generator. To the point where it makes me think, why do we have a special generator for this? Why isn't that just this class? I guess separating out is fine, but it's a static class, so it's not really, it doesn't really matter either way, I guess. All right, well, we're going to need one of these. We'll save this, battle perk choice generator. And we save that here. And this takes in a battle perk choice tracker, which exists. That's good. Fill this in or delete this. I like that. What does the other one say? Yeah. Fill this in or delete this. So now come up with possible perks. Okay, this stuff's going to be a little bit difficult because I don't have the concept of battle perks right now. So how would we do this? What even are battle perks? You're choosing... They're an adventurer and there's some kind of enumeration. Yeah, so we're going to need to make a new thing for this. A battle perk is an adventurer class and a new enumeration. Perk ID or battle perk ID. And then we got to do all this stuff, but we can't do that yet. So let's act like we did it. Well, we can't act like we did it. Because unless we actually do something here, then nothing's going to update the UI. I need to figure out what's the next like point that I can commit this. Can't convert from, oh, this is wrong. This stuff needs to say battle. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, now that's not going to fail. And I guess just delete that. You chose a perk, hope it's good. So we can't hit this code yet. To fill this out. Sure. How helpful, AI. All right. So yeah, I think that's the next step. I think we commit what we have now. So if I were to click that button, it'll cost me 50 sludge, but it won't do anything for me. And it, yeah, it'll do literally nothing, I think. Like the UI won't change in any meaningful way. Let's take a look. So well, it won't do anything because I have 0. But if I click this, now I have 10,000. If I click it once, okay, that's strange. Can't cast a, oh, right, I remember. I don't ever save, yeah, this needs to be the, where do we save that? Battle perk choice tracker. I guess we're going to put it in there. I don't know about that. Battle. Okay, we just make a new one of these. But we don't ever need to update a button because there is no button. Sure, sounds good. Yeah, I think this is going to work now. I'm very happy with the progress from today. This is such an excitement fueled feature for me. I can't wait to see it come together. I've been saying that constantly. I clicked the wrong button. This button. Yeah. So this is the button that does nothing other than cost you sludge and give you no benefit. And I don't even think it's printing anything. Yeah. So this is working as intended right now. We're going to check this in, and then we're going to make it generate perks, which is going to be, I think, the last like interesting thing in terms of this task. Yeah, the rest of this is not that interesting. These things are interesting though. So let's see if we can get done with this stuff. I am way too warm. Hang on one sec. Gotta stand up to take this hoodie off. Oh, toasty. I always get so cold at lunchtime. Okay. So let's go commit what we have. Changed a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it looks good. These scenes are very basic because all they're really saying is, here's a scene that inherits from another one that overrides the script. And that's it. So that's the first. Hang on one second. Excuse me. Okay. So then the panels tab container now has those new types. That looks good. This is a mess. But this whole file is going to have to change. That's the next commit. This is fine for now. This is fine. Why is this yellow? Remove this empty class. Why is it complaining about this one but not the other one that's empty? I don't know. I don't really care. Town shouldn't be checked in. Got to remember that. Town should not be checked in. This is all looking fine. Good. I made this into a function that nothing ever calls. Well, one thing calls it. I don't think we should make it a function. Right? Can I press F12 on this? Yeah. Yeah, let's delete that. Clear children, clear choices. There. Oh, this is problematic, isn't it? The button says... Wait, the button doesn't have a cost at all. Because we don't call update from perk choices. Because it's not when your money changes, it's when your sludge changes. Okay, we got to do that. And we got to put in the right text. Okay, I'll do that afterward. Let's write this down. The buy perk button in the battle perks tab should show sludge. Should be updated instead of gold. Should be updated when sludge changes. And that's it. Just those two things. It's easy enough to do now, but I want to move on to the interesting stuff. All right, good. This is a good separation of things because now this can just decide what happens when a perk is chosen. The point where it kind of makes me think, what was the point of doing things this way? Why don't we just have a chosen function? I think I like that better. I'll write that down too. Clean up. We're going to have multiple cleanup sections here. This added perk choice lets a derived class act on a perk, but perhaps it's better to add the handler in the parent class and just call a virtual function for when the perk was chosen. Hey Vegas, picked up the demo today. Cleric and Rogue combo is broken. There are a lot of combos that are broken. Especially, yeah, there are a lot of combos that are broken. But hopefully you found the game fun. The unpivot is finally done. Wow. All it took is cats and cookies. Who would have thought? It's great. Okay, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get the game out. And yet there's a lot of work between now and then. But knowing that people are actually enjoying the game and that there's a pretty good chance of it doing well. I don't know how well, but still doing better than Botland did. Also, we are almost at a milestone on the Steam page. There are 49 reviews right now. If we hit 50 reviews, the all reviews summary will now say very positive instead of just positive, which does mean something. If you've ever used Steam and you've looked at this and you see overwhelmingly positive, you're like, oh, that must be a good game. But that doesn't have until 500 reviews. How much more content will there be on release? Please don't pirate software us. So the content on release, here's the general plan. So the main game mode, which is what you played, will have more adventurers, locations, items, bosses, and some perks. It'll have the treasure chest system, and it'll have like the game ending, which is just a little goofy cutscene basically. But then the other thing is it's going to add challenge mode, which is what we're working on now. This is a replayable roguelike version of the game. Demos playable on Mac? Yeah. You can download it and play and then review it too in a few days. Oh, cool. Yeah. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I'm sorry if this is asked a lot. Just curious. Is there a planned release date for the game that isn't just a demo? So, hey, Matt, I don't know when it'll be. The goal is to do all of this stuff and then all the finishing touches. So I suspect challenge mode is going to take most of August. And then we have only 3 months in the rest of the year, and that's the quarter I wanted to release it in. I think there's potentially a risk, and I don't know how big the risk is, but let's say I wanted to target December 20th for the launch date. Let's just hypothetically, I should write this down. Hypothetically, let's say we target this. I think that's probably a bad time to try to sell a game, such that it makes sense to just like push it by 2 to 3 weeks just to have better odds at succeeding. So I don't know where we're going to land exactly, but if it's October 2nd, then yeah, it's probably fine to just launch then. But if it's, November 15th, yeah, maybe I just wait and say, okay, it's going to be Q1 of 2026. I saw most of the demo on YouTube, but the review and additional playtime will probably help, right? And playing myself is different from watching. Yeah, I think so. Don't feel obligated. Let me put it that way. If it's something you want to do and you find yourself some time, then yeah, by all means, I think it would be a good thing. But if it's something where you're like, I'm only doing this to help Adam, then yeah, don't worry about it. Might be looking to spend it soon after. Yeah. Beginning of February is also release heavy. So I think this is one of those, like, there's probably no good time to release a video game anymore. There's always some like massive event or sale or other game that's going to eclipse yours. I don't know how much it matters. I think as long as you have enough marketing momentum going into it, you'll hopefully get enough reviews where it'll stand out. Okay, what else do we have to do? This is fine. This is on town perk choices change. I don't actually update anything when the battle perk choices change. I wonder if I should do that. Probably search for this. Yeah, we should probably just code that anyway right now. Because I'm gonna forget. Hey, Darth Maul. That'd be fun. I'll record it for my tiny YouTube channel. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yeah, if you do that, I don't mind sharing the video like I'm doing with this person's video in the today command. Matt plays indies. Okay, so the only thing I'm not sure about here is this. We got to go find this, and then we can check everything in except for town. We cannot check in town. In fact, let's just remember that we can't check in town by doing this and then clicking town. There, done. Now there's no risk of us checking it in. All right, and we search for this again, and we close every other tab. And the easiest way to do this is just to change this to be battle perks and say on battle perks changed, and then set up our Boston battle perks over here. This is the choose battle perks panel update. Yeah, there. Okay, the only thing I'm unclear about here is that this is the container. There's a UI that, I'll just leave it as is for now. Okay, so set up foundation for battle perks tab. I converted the, I didn't really fully genericize, but yeah, I converted the town perks version into a base class that the town and battle specific versions can inherit from. Battle perks still don't actually exist yet. So this commit doesn't really add anything. Well, add any functionality. Add anything functional. Let's put it that way. Yeah, something like that. You ever bored looking at a screen all day, or do you make it fun? I don't know if bored is the right word. I eventually run out of energy, and sometimes I find tasks boring. But that's why I have that bricklaying mentality. I feel like there's no project you can ever do that's going to go on for, let's say, more than a year that will have only exciting tasks for you. I just don't think that's possible. I think something along the way is going to be boring. Probably many things are going to be boring, but you have to do it anyway because otherwise you're never going to get your project done. Now, if you're working on something that was going to take you 2 hours, let's say, yeah, you can probably only have exciting tasks for that. But yeah, I don't think you can make a long project that you're not going to be bored by something. Hey, Athletics. Your game lives on Steam for the foreseeable future as well. And while obviously the hype of a new release is good momentum, doesn't mean you have to start trying to advertise the game, for example. Yeah, I think Among Us is an exception, but it is at least a positive exception. And I don't know what to expect right now out of Skeleseller. Just dropped a review. Oh, cool. Thank you, Vegas. Yeah, now whether or not it was positive, it will still show as very positive as the aggregate now, because 49 out of 50 is still enough to be in the very positive threshold. I don't know where that ends. I think it's at 80% maybe. Something like that. It was positive. Thank you. I guess there's no need for suspense here. Want to implement that idea in my own life as well, the bricklaying? Yeah. Yeah, it's worth reminding yourself, because otherwise you'll think, how do I just only work on fun stuff? And how much progress am I making and everything? It's like, yeah, you make progress just by putting in time, even if it's not visible progress. And I don't know if you've heard the example I've given about this before, but a lot of times when you're coding something, you'll encounter a bug, and the fix will be like 1 to 2 lines of code. Now, just now you saw me write whatever, tens of lines of code. So you might think, oh, 1 to 2 lines of code, that should take a minute at most. But sometimes the process takes like 3 hours, let's say. And at the end of it, you think, wow, 3 hours for 1 line of code, like what a waste of time. I think that's incredibly unproductive thinking. I think the best way you can look at this is that process probably would have taken you 3 hours no matter what. And what can you learn to make the next time a little bit faster or better somehow? And not look at it like that time was lost. Because for all you know, it would have taken every other like genius programmer in the world 2.5 hours or something, such that it's not like, you know, even if you were slightly better, you would have been half an hour better, not like 2 hours and 58 minutes better. So I think that's where that mentality helps the most. All right, generate perks. So let's go take a look at this. I have a to-do item there somewhere. Let's see if we can find that. Here it is. Generate choices for the battle perks. So we need to know, we need to have a battle perk ID. Let me think about this some more, because some of this is just going to be power, right? We need to design this a little bit. So battle perk ID will just be something like power, skill point, lifesteal. But then the actual like battle perk data is going to be a value for these things. I guess a float will accommodate everything. Solving one math equation or writing one math proof is almost worse. Math undergrad prepared me a lot for this. Cries. Your day-to-day will be unpivoting tables. Have fun. Nothing but an insane threshold for sticking out. Yeah, and I think that can be a pro and a con. I think sometimes calling it quits is the right idea. Like the last game I worked on, I'm kind of second guessing whether I've always said this. It was a commercial failure. And I think almost everyone can agree, at least, because from a numbers perspective, it made like $700. And it cost a lot more than $700 to make, but it also cost 5 years of my time. It was a learning success by all means. But anyway, my takeaway from this was always that it just wasn't a great product. And I still agree with that assessment, but I think it could have been made into a better product. And I don't think it would have taken maybe very long, but I don't think it was worth doing. Anyway, my point being that it was 5 years. Imagine if I had stopped after like 4 months. The commercial failure would have been pretty much avoided. I wouldn't have gotten the learnings from the game, which I think were very valuable. But yeah, had I just stuck it out for another like 5 years afterward, it might not have actually paid off. What just happened? I think there's like a loose connection here. All right, so just a number for these. We're generating choices and storing them in here. What do these look like? Challenge mode choice. We don't even have another class out of this, do we? So with town perks, we stored the level in a different place. With, I guess with battle perks, we could kind of do the same. But there's a delta value that we want. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make battle perk choice. It'll have a battle perk ID and a float delta. We could have, yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. Remember doing a project in college for a final? Kind of replicated an example, and me and my teacher spent like an hour trying to make the program work from all the errors. Yeah. But it's only like if you don't feel bad about that sort of thing, then everything's fine. If you do feel bad about it, I would say that's where it's a mentality thing, not a like I need to, I don't know. I shouldn't be in programming, that sort of thing. I guess it's always a mentality problem. Would have loved to see a 3D version. Someone made something, I forgot what the name is. There was some other battle bots kind of game that someone made that was like in a 3D style. I thought it started with a G, but I don't remember the name of it anymore now. Yeah. I guess bot battling game with automation. Gladiabots. Yeah, that was it. Someone made this. I think they did a much better job. I don't think there was proper coding in this. Not that it needed to have coding. I think they made a nice little priority system. They got a lot of reviews for this. They're selling for like $15. I wonder if it's still ongoing. Yeah. Okay, let's go code this. So we got to go make an enumeration for battle perks. I guess this whole thing can go into the new folder we made for challenge mode. Yeah, let's make a new file here. So let's just open up perk choice tracker, and save this as battle perk. I'm blanking on the name. What do we do for all these other things? ID. Oh my God. Battle perk ID. That should not have been difficult. Okay, so now we make a public enum battle perk ID, and we delete all this, set none equal to 0. And then we want these all to have numbers for them. So let's just say power equals 1, and let's make another health equals 2. Wait a sec, though. A perk is not just one of these things. A perk is several of these things. Yeah, so health should probably be first, then power, then fortitude, and then a bunch of other stuff. Let's put in, no, let's just leave it at that. Yeah, and then let's change this around. So a battle perk choice is actually a list of battle perk data where the data is an ID and a delta. And a float delta. All right, let's copy this over to here. Yeah, let's copy this over to here. Cool. A choice is several pieces of data at once. Oh, and a class, right? Yeah, and a class. Adventurer class, a list of data, and then the data itself is this stuff. Okay. Okay, I think we've got it. So, so how does this work? Our generation rules are to pick 3 random unique adventurer classes, then to generate a battle perk choice for each. And each one is guaranteed to have health. And then each one has 2 random unique other battle perks. And then we need rendering for all this stuff. And you need to be able to choose this. Yeah, this is going to take a bit of time. So let's start with the easy thing. Pick 3 unique adventurer classes. These don't need to be ones that you've unlocked before. I think we have a way of doing this. If I look for like enum.get valid values. What's going on? Get values, not valid. Wait, no, there was a get valid values though, wasn't there? Yeah, it is right there. Okay, so where is an adventurer thing that we use this for? Adventurer class. There it is. Cool. Let's take all of those and put them over in our generator. So these are all of the adventurer classes, and get valid values returns what? A collection? An IEnumerable. Okay, so we just do toList on this, which means we need link, and then we sample 3 of them. That'll give us our list of adventurer classes, technically an iRead-only list. All right, so these are the adventurer classes that we want to generate them for. And then we just need sample, and we just need iRead-only list. Great. So we've done step 1, get random classes. Step 2, generate a battle perk for each of these. So let's go make our data structures. A battle perk choice. So as a challenge mode choice. We have something that inherits from this, just town perk choice. And this takes in some stuff. So let's say this says battle perk choice. I really, really don't like the name challenge mode choice. I think it should be challenge mode perk choice. So I'll write that in cleanup. Rename challenge mode choice to challenge mode perk choice. All right, so this is a battle perk choice. And what do we say it contains? Contains an adventurer class, and then a list of battle perk data. Okay, we have adventurer class. I have not made data yet though. So now we got to go make data. Let's go do that. So save this as battle perk. No, let's do it this way. This is where it belongs. This is where I want this new thing to be. So public class, battle perk data. This is actually not going to be a class. It's going to be a record struct, I think. Make this into a record struct. Hey, Ginogo. Hey, Caleb. You say your programming suffers while streaming, or have you gotten over that hump? I think the thing that makes my programming suffer is coding when I'm too tired. I don't think streaming impacts it too much. How am I doing? I'm doing very well. I am very happy with today's progress. I am just working on battle perks now. We have, I think I can show this. Yeah, so we have this perk UI now for picking town perks in the game. So the way this works from start to finish is this choose perks button will light up green when you have enough money. So then you click it and you can buy a perk. And then you're presented with 3 random options. And there aren't that many in the game yet so far. But yeah, then you can pick one of these and you will get the benefits. And we're doing the same thing now for battle perks, which are going to work a little bit differently. But only one more bug to fix. For you, Krasner? Because that's really good. And hey. How are you doing, Caleb? All right, so battle perk data takes in an ID and a float delta. So public battle perk ID and public float delta. Can it make this into a record struct for me? Can I say fix using Copilot? I don't feel like figuring this out. That's close, but it didn't put the pragmas in. Yeah, it's good enough. I'll put the pragmas in. Public read-only record struct here. Let's just copy the whole thing. Okay. It doesn't delete the new line. All right, there we go. Ever work for a game studio? I worked for a game company that you probably wouldn't have heard of and that I've never showed the name of. But yeah, I didn't stay there for very long. It was right before I was starting to work on Botland, and that was like the biggest reason I left was to work on Botland. Because I got really excited about the Botland idea, and I'm like, now's the time. Yeah, I quit that job after like a year and a day or something like that. Got a new bed frame and mattress, and this evening I made the poor choice to start deconstructing the old frame at 10 p.m. Turns out I'm missing a tool, so now I'm using my new mattress directly on the floor. That's not that bad. At least you have a mattress. I hope you like the new setup though once you have it set up. Okay, so this is battle perk data. And we have this. This is unread. I don't care about any of that stuff right now. So we do want to save these things off. Probably. How do I want to do this? I was curious how they divvy up their work. So their, meaning game studios, I think is a large enough sample size where you'll see all sorts of different things. There are probably some that are very organized and others that aren't. We use the typical sort of Kanban system. And we had sprints and tasks and yeah. So much better. Using a futon. Wow, really? Huh. Yeah. That's the kind of thing that really improves your entire quality of life. Just getting better sleep, better quality sleep, more sleep. Hey, Padada. All right, I want to save this stuff. Let's just save it here. I don't know how we're going to want to use this yet. So let's just save it like this. Adventure class, get private set. And then I guess the same thing for the battle perk data. Maybe call it perk data. Yeah, that's probably better. It's the worst thing I've ever felt. Worst bed and worst couch. Why? Why don't you destroy it? Get title. What is it even doing here? Yeah, what is this doing here? Town perk choice? Why is that there? What is this overriding? Oh. Oh. We never call this though? I don't think we ever call this. No, we don't. What about this? We call this one, don't we? Abstract string get description. Then we call it from here. Yeah, we never call the get title one. I guess we should just delete that. Is there any? No, there's no reason to have that. Yeah. We could have separated it out earlier, but all right, let's delete that. And that means it needs to be gone from here too. So now we don't need to worry about that part. Okay, so get description. Let's make this as easy as possible. Return hello world. Done. Couldn't make it any easier. Get icon. We never even used this. Let's just delete that. Yeah. If we want an icon in here, it's going to be trivially easy for us to add that back in. Wow, look at all this stuff. I guess because we didn't need any of it. So it's just a description for a choice. Makes sense. All right. Remove ability data. Yeah, we don't use this anymore. or this or this. Okie dokie. So what have we done? Absolutely nothing so far. So let's go do something. Generate a battle perk choice for each. So how should we do this? We can we can make a list of, or no, a hash set of battle perk ID. Actually, it doesn't really need to be this way. We could just get all the valid ones that we have. Yeah, let's do that. I read only list, battle perk ID. So get valid values already returns the non-null ones. So this is going to return. Oh, this isn't even how this works. Oh my goodness. I said it would take a bit of time. Yeah. So let's do this. Private static void generate battle perk choice. Adventurer class, adventurer class. And what else do we need to take in? The tracker. I don't think we need the tracker. We might need the town. We don't need it now. Let's not use it now. All right. Then copy this down there too. Okay, so this gives us all the IDs. We only have 3 of them. And what we're going to do... Oh, wait. We also need to do one other thing where ID is not equal to health. Yeah, you can't generate the health one because it's automatically generated no matter what. So how do we generate a... Oh, we probably will need the town to know how many. Yeah, we probably will need the town. All right, do we need a delta for each one of these things? So at some point, we're going to need a battle perk choice out of here, or battle perk data. And the data itself is a list of these. It's a... Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, what have I messed up? It's a choice. That's what I want. Okay, we're getting there. So I want to make a new one of these with the adventurer class and a list. I guess we can just return this at the end of this. And what is the list going to be? What is the list? It is a list of battle data, perk data. Battle perk data, perk data. Oh, we're getting there. Okay, so first bit of perk data. Perk data dot add new health and 10. Let's give you 10 life. Looks good. And then we want to figure out what other thing to add. Let's just add in the other. Let's just add in 2. Power, let's say 2 and fortitude. Fortitude. 1. Okay, so to do randomize these using battle perk IDs. There we go. Okay. Now we go through this. And what we want to do is make a list of choices. We have the list of choices. List challenge mode choices equals adventure classes dot select. Looks good. What's problematic about this? This thing? Hey, nice. All right, we're making progress. So that's done. This we don't need. This isn't needed. Now, eligible ones. Is there anything you can be locked out of here? There are some things that don't make sense. So for example, no, maybe not lifesteal. Dodge. Dodge going to 100% means that you dodge every single attack. Dodge going to something like 105% in some games could make sense because maybe you have a debuff for like a dodge debuff, maybe like minus 10%. So this puts you at 95% once you have this debuff. We don't have this concept in the game right now, but we could have it in the future. But should we stop you from going that high? Is there even a need to do that? Will you ever be offered like 10 plus 10% bonuses? If you do get offered them, do you care because you could just not pick them? So I don't think we'll worry about that now. Let's just say that all of them are eligible. I think it's more difficult with skill points. And maybe I'll just write this down for the future, because I think that would be confusing. Consider not offering some battle perks if they wouldn't do anything. I think the most egregious example would be getting another skill point when the max skill level, when it would be unusable. But yeah, for now, we're not going to do anything about that. So then we get these choices, and then we just set them. All right. Wow, look at that. All right, so now let's go try out the next bit of this, which is changing this thing to have a description. So instead of hello world, let's have it print just something. Yeah, that. I don't know if that's going to look readable or not. It's not going to look nice. I can guarantee that. But perk data might print as like garbage, or it might print as something that we can actually tell what it means. So let's go try it out. So I click over here, click buy perk. All right. Yeah, that's doing what I wanted it to do. So now when you click choose, I believe it just prints something here. Yeah, you chose a battle perk. Hope it's good. Wow. All right, I think it's break time. Yeah. Let's keep a thing for where I left off. So this has been done. So next up is get the perks to render nicely. You should have a title, oh no, they can't have a title. Well, the title would be the adventurer class, adventurer's display name. Then list the 3 stat changes nicely. Yeah. And then make sure you can pick them. Yeah. Do you get surprised when something works? Sometimes what I'm doing is complex enough, there are enough moving pieces where it works on the first try and I'm a little bit surprised. Otherwise, there's a lot of wrestling with things. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break. Is it jump time? It's jump time. For those who've never seen this or didn't play earlier, you can type join in chat to join, and then J and a number to jump. You'll figure it out. There's some examples here, like J30 moves you to the right. I'll be back in a little bit. hello. Just scrolling through chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, close the game. GG, everybody. GG. Hey, and Sophomire, you only played the one game, and you won. Why did close the game not work? There we go. Chat rate limit. So I'm not sure if you're talking about too many messages at once or just the repeat message thing, but let's say you want to do the same jump multiple times. You can just put any text at the end of it, like this, or, you know, whatever, just dots. Yeah, repeat message. Yeah, so you can get past it with just putting any trash afterward. It's pretty much the same as typing like J5 and J6. It's very unlikely that 1 degree difference is going to make a huge change. But and then if you want to jump straight up, any of these commands work. And if you want to jump always to the left, instead of typing negative numbers, you can just type L and a positive number. So these two things are identical. Did I make that? Yeah. Yeah, that is located there. If you want to see the code and everything. I also made Animal Royale, which I think is a much cooler game. Is there a video here? Yeah, this video. Okay, so I'll link this in chat. I think this is super cool. In short, for the people who don't want to watch the whole video, it's Twitch controlled Minecraft where you shoot TNT out of sheep at one another. So like if you get a bunch of people playing at once, it's pretty chaotic. Hey, Eli. Okay, so what's the next task? Next task is get perks to render nicely. Yeah. So here we have perk choice equals mushroom. Yeah, so this should be, we should like come up with a whole thing. So string adventurer name equals all adventure data dot get adventurer class dot display name. And I'd love to theme these like how we have the ability data working. So how do we find that? Base ability? Probably. Font size 20. Okay. So we got to go use that. I don't even know where I was just doing this. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so font size equals 20. Adventurer name. And then 1 new line. I should probably find that other class and just hunt that down. Do we bold it as well? Base ability is there. There's player ability somewhere too. Where's that one? Get ability name for tooltip. Okay, that's fine. Then 2 new lines. We need 2 new lines. Then we can just put whatever we want in there. So I think what would make the most sense is just a list. And even though I just literally did this the other day, we're going to look this up again. Unordered list. UL and then items. Put a 1 item per line of text. Okay. And then there's UL bullet. So if you just do a regular UL, there's no bullet. What does that look like? Rich text label. UL, hi there, how are you, /UL. No, there are bullet points there. Yeah, so I think this is how I want to render this. I think I want it to look something like this. Health, or maybe like plus 50 health, plus 3 power, plus 2% lifesteal. That means that these need to have their own formatting. I didn't think about that. I guess we could just have a formatter built in for these things. I don't know what I want to do for that yet. But yeah, I like this idea. In fact, I'm not even sure. Maybe we don't want the bullet points there. It looks kind of weird with the pluses as well. How do we turn that off? bullet equals star. If provided, it must be a single character with no enclosing quotes. How do you just turn off the bullet points? What? Can I just put a space? Oh, you... What? You can turn it off? Okay, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do for this. I guess if we just put these in a different color, it might be totally fine. Something like that. I don't know if that helps at all, though. We do tend to bold these things, too. No, in those cases, I don't want a bulleted list. Okay. UL bullet equals /UL. So now in here, we're going to put all the different perk data that we have. Do I do this through code? I do, yeah. Okay, so perk data dot select. So this will work for now, but I want this to actually have like a proper formatter for it. Parameter adventure class is captured in this state and enclosing its value is also used to initialize a field. I guess we can just turn that off for now. Or use the adventurer class that's not passed in through the constructor. All right, so this will look moderately better, but not a lot better. I need to figure out the formatting I want to do for this. In order to make this easier to test, where we do this, let's also set sludge to 500. And right, to delete this too. And that way I don't need to click the cheat every time. All right, so now it shows witch doctor. And then we see all the perks show up with no bullet points. All right, let's think about formatters. So how do we format different numbers? So we have a perk ID, and each perk ID can correspond to a formatter. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's just do that. So private string get formatter for perk ID. So by default, what we're going to do is we're going to just return a regular number. And in some cases, it's going to return something special. So let's just try this out by doing this. If it is power, let's have it print as though it's a percentage. Don't we need a value in here? Format value. Yeah, so let's do that. If it's health, let's have it print with 2 decimal places. I don't even know how to do this. I guess I don't really care. All we need to prove is that we can print 2 different ways, and then that's it. In fact, how about that? Let's just have power be the special one. And if it's not that, then let's print out the value :0. So it just is an integer. Yeah. All right, so then it's not this, it's p dot value delta. All right, what am I missing now? A parenthesis. No argument that corresponds to the value parameter. We need a perk ID. I guess we just pass in perk data. Perk data is enough to have both of these things, right? Battle perk data. Done, and Okay. Let's do float v equals data dot delta. I think it'll just be easier to read. Okay. Just testing. I guess we could say this is constant. No, you can't. All right. Yeah, just testing. Okay, so now this will just print out the... It'll just print out one value. So actually what we probably want this to do is like, well, I guess for now that's fine. Let's try it. But then we'll make a format perk and it'll print out the perk itself. Probably what this means is we should just have some set of classes or something that tells us what this data should be. I'm not very concerned about doing this though. Even if we had a giant if statement with like 30 clauses, it's going to be contained in this one thing. Yeah, so here we go. So power is printing out as a percentage. So this is what's going to allow us to do this. It'll be tomorrow and I'll have to go to work, so I don't have a solution. Time travel. Repeat the same day over and over. Become friends with the groundhog. Say no matter what value we get, value string is equal to this. We're going to return it like so. Okay, looks good. So now we need format perk. Private string format perk. Battle perk data. Data. So now this is format perk. So what we need is we need the ID and then a value. So return that. Easy. I don't know why I find this thought so gross. Just cover your pillow with a plastic bag and sleep with your feet on the plastic bag. It couldn't be more straightforward. All right, check it out. So this works for the English version. We need to be able to localize these things. I don't even think I'm going to worry about that for V1, but I do need to write this down. So what is this in? Battle perk choice. Battle perk choice dot format perk. Abuses the enumeration strings. We should properly format / localize these. Okay, so now it's not super clear what you're picking. We can put pluses before these. But it's still not going to be clear. Yeah, and you'd want to know what values you already had, which I'll do later. Yeah. So is that the best way of rendering this, or should I have gone with this way? Ignore the green. UL bullet equals, yeah, something like this. +3 power, +2% lifesteal. I think I like this a little bit better because it actually looks like a proper list. What is going on? Why won't B work for this? Oh, M is how you open it. B is not supposed to work for it. All right, there we go. So +10 health, +200% power, +1 fortitude. So I want to put something else in the title here that's not just the adventurer name. Maybe something like improvements, stats. Or maybe I just want text for all these, like choose which adventurer to power up. What happens in the town perks one of these? Hey, wait a second. These things got stored correctly. Nice. Wow. So if I hit choose, nothing's going to happen. All right, well, that's probably fine for now. Let's not belabor this. Get perks to render nicely. So done with that, done with that, done with that. Make sure we apply any effects you've done. Yep, let's check this in first. Will the vertical slice be a demo on the Steam page? So yeah, there's a demo already on the Steam page. If you're talking about for challenge mode, that's not going to be in the demo. If we launch challenge mode in the demo, I feel like people would never buy the game. So yeah, the demo that's there right now is already, it's the median playtime is a very generous 1 hour and 58 minutes. So if we gave challenge mode and people's median playtime went up to like 5 hours or something, yeah, I don't think they'd purchase it. Oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. So play testers will have access to this stuff. That is governed by that document. All right, so this stuff's looking good enough for right now. Yeah, randomize these. We haven't done that yet. Rest of this stuff's fine. None of this is functional. Deleted some properties that weren't used. Yeah, so checking everything other than the town. Generate battle perk choices. Choosing them still does nothing, and they're also not randomized. Skeletons. Hello, Skittercat. Skittercat, have you heard me talk about any of challenge mode in the last like week or two? Cause oh boy, got a big feature coming up over here. I've been here. Okay, well, the short rundown is, have you ever wanted Skeleseller to be a roguelike game? Because guess what? Now it is. Yeah, so there's going to be ways of unlocking things through random choices. This will be after you've beaten the main game. I always thought it was always supposed to be kind of roguelike. No, there was never a plan for that. The plan was for it to just not be replayable. But enough people have been like, hey, I want to keep playing. I'm like, all right, fine. Let's make that work for you. Okay, so make sure we apply any effects you've unlocked to the adventurer once you've gotten them. This means we can't store an adventurer component. We need to store in battle perks save data, which keeps track of stats per adventurer class. All right, so where's this? Hope it's good, this thing. Identify a roguelite just by being shown rectangles next to each other. Yeah, yeah, I think I've kind of mentioned this. I think the idea of roguelike games is going to be evergreen because randomness affecting your gameplay is something that I think will always be exciting to human psychology. So this will stay around for a while. And I think it's probably one of the easiest ways to add replayability. In fact, it kind of makes me think, what games don't have random choices that are very replayable? Because if you think about it, even like an RTS, there's no pure randomness, I suppose. If you just consider player versus player, real-time strategy game, each player is making decisions based on what they're seeing. So yeah, I think that's you need essential randomness or effective randomness, and it's either literal randomness or it's like chaos from other players. So yeah, I think replayability in general, replayability is either sourced from randomness, other people, or variations in how you can play. So imagine like you play as a warrior and then you play as a mage, something like that. Has lots of human generated randomness. Yeah, pretty much every competitive game, even cooperative games, I would say if you're considering other people's actions, they could be seemingly random to you. Not necessarily though, like in a fighting game, they're going to be trying to beat you by overcoming your strategy. But still, yeah, I think that's what sources most of the replayability in games. I'm trying to think if there's any other category that I haven't really thought of here. I guess mastery is still there. Yeah. So you might play the exact same like song in DDR a bunch of times to try to get better at it, or Beat Saber. And we talked about this in the other stream and like what are we going to try to optimize for here. And now it's the variations on how you can play stemming from randomness. All right, anyway, once you pick a perk, we need to store this information somewhere. So something needs to figure out that you have the extra power or fortitude. Oh, my phone just lit up with scam likely. I don't answer my phone for basically anybody at this point. In fact, I wonder if I can just turn off phone calls entirely. Oh, should probably look into that at some point. Or maybe I can turn on call screening and then they'll all just stop calling because they'll realize that they're hitting some AI. Maybe I should do that. The only non-scam phone calls I get are from delivery people. I can't even remember the last non-scam phone call I got from someone who wasn't already in my phone. And no, I can remember the last one. And it also was a sort of delivery. It was like a service person who was supposed to drop by at a certain time. And they're like, hey, we're 15 minutes away. But I knew that they were coming. So essentially, if I ever get a phone call and I don't know that it's going to happen, it's either from a friend, like a contact I already have, or it's a spam call. Ask you to say why you're calling about. Yeah. There's been a thing, I just never use it. Yeah, I study things. How do you try a split keyboard? No one in my surrounding area uses one. So if I buy one, I have to one-shot it. If I don't like it, I'm cooked. Yeah, that's it. There's only one other way you can do this, which is kind of like emulate having one. So take a keyboard and like pop a bunch of keys off of it and change your key map so that it's like you have fewer keys. But yeah, otherwise you can't really do it. Hey, Bald Bearded Builder, thanks for the raid. Hey, I was serious when I was asking you in your chat. Is everything okay? Because I could not tell from when I rated you last time if something's actually wrong or if it's not wrong. Because if something's actually wrong, I'd like to try to make it right. And if nothing's wrong, I'm fine with joking about it. Totally okay. Okay, good. It's just checking. Because it was a long enough time where you're like, you know what you did, Adam. I was like, did I do something? And I asked you, I think 3 times, and you ignored all the times, which made me think either this is true commitment to the joke or it's something actually happened. Give you $10. All right, someone in chat, pass over the $10. Hey, Twitch Unruffled. Since I got my new number, I get a call at noon asking for the same person, not me. Is it an actual like confused person? I like your style of keyboard. What is it? It's there you go. Good job. Yeah, it's a corn keyboard. I've got a lot of information. Okay, so we have a reflect guild supplies thing. What does this do exactly? It changes your power to be equal to the total power. So this is like reflect all of the bonuses you might have. And this is only called when you level up right now. So this is pretty reasonable. Oh, and then this part's called presumably whenever you get more guild supplies. So basically, anytime any of this stuff is called, we're going to have to say, figure out what your total power should be. So something needs to be able to save your extra power computations that you have here. So I just need to figure out where this goes. What should track this? Also, why does it keep happening? Am I like accidentally pressing 2 wrong keys? Yeah, where do we put this? Everything so far was an adventurer component. We can't save it there though, because you might not have the adventurer. So yeah, the idea with this is exactly what you see here. I only have the paladin, but my battle perks, none of these are for the paladin. So if you never unlock this character and you choose this buff, it's pointless for you. But if you keep getting offered ones you don't have, it'll probably steer you toward hiring those adventurers. This would probably break down if we had like 30 adventurers in the game. We'd probably at the beginning of the game need to pick a pool of like 15 that you could potentially see. We only have 10 right now, so we're just going to have you have the whole pool of 10. Is this your own engine? No, this is Godot. Okay, so let's store this somewhere. Yeah, where do we put the extra stats from battle perks? I guess just town. Might as well for now. Yeah, I like Godot a lot. I think it's pretty good. It may as well be in the town for now. And then how are we going to store this stuff? I guess just a battle perk ID and a total delta. Yeah, battle perk ID and a total delta. At which point it's just a battle perk data. Well, that's convenient. All right, let's go code it. Actually, we should make some like wrapper around this. Yeah, let's go do that. I like this idea. I like everything I just came up with. Good job, me. All right, let's go save this in what? Challenge mode slash type.cs here. Yeah, like this, for example. So what are we saving this as? We're saving this as battle perk adventurer data. Battle perk adventurer stats. Adventurer battle perks. Adventurer battle perks. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, let's save that. I only know it because of how it allows people to use any language they want. I think that's true because of the extension stuff. I'm using C#, which is one of the more officially supported languages. The other main one that people tend to use is GDScript, which is their created language. It looks sort of like Python. They're trying to avoid that association of saying it looks sort of like Python, but it does sort of look like Python, and it feels like Python. Okay, so Adventurer Battle Perks is going to be all of, we're going to have a dictionary of Adventurer class to Battle Perk data. And just call this data, I guess. And that's it. And then delete pretty much everything else. Yeah. All right, now we save one of these in the town. Why do I use C# over GDScript? I've got a little short explanation of it there. All right, we're just going to save this somewhere. Public this get private set equals new. Yeah. Okay, so when you choose one of these, we need, oh, darn it, we need access to the town. Oh, we have it. Haha. Past me, thought ahead. All right, so town dot this dot add, or maybe like chose perk choice. What does this contain inside of it? It contains a perk data. Yeah, I want that. Give me that. Give me that. Sketch cracks me up. No one probably knows what I'm talking about. That's fine. You don't need to. Perk data. We could just take, yeah, we could just take that in. Okay, so this is like chose battle perk, I suppose. Let's go generate this. Hey, Kevin. There's no joy in coding greater than deleting code. I like deleting code that I made better. I really, really dislike deleting code that I just changed the requirements on. Like, let's say we scrapped challenge mode and I had to delete all this. That doesn't feel good. That feels really bad. Oh, wait, we need the adventurer class as well. Doesn't this have that in there? It does. Wow, look at that. How nice. Okay, so just data, adventurer class. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so this might have already had a battle perk data. So if it doesn't exist, I guess if data.try get value. Okay, so existing data dot delta plus equal the new one's delta. Perk data dot delta. Yeah. Okay, otherwise set it up. New battle perk data. Can we clone one? I guess there's no real need to clone it. We can just, actually we can just take the existing one. Although I think they're read only. Init only property. Yes, that is a problem. Okay, well we can make a new one. So I guess all we need to know is what is the existing, what is the value that's already there? So float current value equals 0, I guess. This assumes that they all start at 0 and they can just be added together. I sure hope they can. So we say current value equals the existing data dot delta. Otherwise, nothing. And then set this thing to a new battle perk data that takes in the adventurer class. Battle perk choice dot adventurer class. And then the current value plus this thing's delta. Okay, now what have I messed up? What is the first argument? It's an ID. Whoops. What do we call that? Battle perk ID? Perk data dot battle perk ID. This isn't even correct. What am I doing? Yeah, this isn't correct at all. Perk data is a list. So we got to add all of these things into. Okay. Yeah, all of them into here. This is probably not smart. Wouldn't this just be a dictionary of battle perk ID to battle perk data? All right, now we go change everything. Yuck. Yeah. All right, fine. If it doesn't contain this, then set it to a new dictionary. Then we need to get that dictionary. Yeah. So this is going to be here. And now I want to try getting this from perks. And we want to iterate over everything in our battle perk choice that we got. Yeah, this is kind of a mess. All right, perk data is a list of these. Give me a sec. It's battle perk data. All right. Okay, so now we can finally do this. We iterate over all of these things for each of these. If we try getting that perk ID and it exists, then we get the current value. Otherwise, our current value is going to be set up here. And then we set this inside of perks. This is data.battlePerkID. And we get the ID in here too. And there we go. All right, so what's the problem here now? Argument 1, cannot convert from a perk ID to an int. Did I name two things perk data? No, this was supposed to be called perks. Okay, and then what does this complain about? Prefer this, but I don't want to do that. Over a dictionary indexer, access guarded by a contains key to avoid double lookup. Fine. If data.tryGet value this, I guess if not that, then set it. Wait, this isn't going to work. What am I doing? All right, you know what? I'll figure that out later. I don't want to make this more complex than it is. So if we did this correctly, then by the end of this thing, all the perks will be set, and we just need to pick the same thing multiple times, I suppose. How about we just put a breakpoint here? Breaking in. There. Done. Let's try it. So if I did this correctly, these numbers should just keep adding up. And we have I don't know what the chance is of finding this the first time. So no matter what we pick up first. Wait, does it always pick the same ones? I don't know if it does. Let's pick Witch Doctor here. So we hit choose. And now this data should contain Witch Doctor and then all three of those values. So there are 3 values. Health should be set to some number. I don't know what. 10. Probably all set to 10. 2 and 1, I think. Yeah, okay. So 10, 2, and 1 for the Witch Doctor. Now we hit play and we try. Oh, I guess we can just click them again. Now it should be 24 and 2. 24 and 2. Would you look at that? All right, so it looks like it's all working. Now, when you choose this, we need to. So this I gotta fix to do fix linting issue. All right, when you choose this, we have to close the UI, which I did inside of the town version of this. Choose town perks panel tab. So it's in here. What does this do? Perk choices are clear and then choices change. Yeah, that should be it. Is there anything else I need to do here? No, I think that's it. Oh, yes, there is. There's one other thing. To do reapply the adventure or recalculate adventurer stats. Okay, that's the last bit. Let's try this out. So now it should mark that it was chosen. And that means you need to spend more sludge to get another one of these. I click buy. We choose warrior. They go away. I click buy. I can close this and go back into it. It's still the same choices. I click warrior again. There's no way of telling that actually worked because even if we unlock the warrior, I didn't ever recalculate the stats. So we need to go do that next. It should be simple enough. We have this stat computations here and we have some like reflect guild supplies thing. This should probably be renamed to reflect stat bonuses for adventurer. Reflect stat bonuses for adventurer. Also, when they start a battle, any special things need to be set. Yeah. All right, so how do we do this? We don't have enough information to do this from here. We need the town. We can fetch that pretty easily. Town component, or town equals town component, get town on the adventurer. Hopefully this never causes a problem. And the reason we need the town is because we need the adventurer battle perks. So total life, total power, and fortitude. These all needed to change. Hey Warner, I'm doing well. How was your 6+ hour stream? Jeez. And your HD chip eating. This man loves his chips. All right, so as far as base stats go, I guess we have power from, what are we calling this? Perks. Is going to be this. This needs to be an adventurer class. Hey, Liquidor. It's almost 7 hours. Eating chips for 6 hours. Can you imagine that's a stream? I've seen on YouTube every once in a while, people have like taste test videos where they get a bunch of snacks or drinks or something and they just try them all and share their opinions. I don't really get the appeal unless someone is very descriptive with their speech. Because the whole point of tasting something, it's hard to replicate what that experience is like over speech. Someday we might have USB to taste bud technology. Then you can just beam lemons right onto your tongue. It's not used to streaming as long ago. Yeah. The other thing too is chat when you come back after a long time is like, whoa, nice to see you back. It's good to see you, etc. What have you been up to? Blah, blah, blah. Like after you've been online for another year or so with a regular schedule, then the conversations shift a lot. Supposed to live vicariously, not literally try to taste the food. But what's the point? Like, why do you want to watch someone try 6 different flavors of things? Yeah. Take care, Caleb. I hope you can sleep on your mattress. It'll be better tomorrow once you have that tool. I taste food and snacks from my country. It makes my fellow Danes fanboy the heck out of it. That I can understand. Yeah. I've seen, I think I saw a video of some Korean girls trying American barbecue and sharing their opinions on it. That was more for the reaction content than it was for the description content. All right, so get power for adventure. Maybe we should just have like get perk value. Get perk value. Yeah, that's probably good. Let's do that. All right, so we got to go code this, and we got to pass in a battle perk ID dot power. Get perk value for adventure. Yeah, that's probably better. Okay, I like that. The intention of never planning to even purchase those products just as entertainment. 45 different spring waters. How do you even how do you even judge them? I had to explain the same thing a couple times. That's why I've got 500 commands in this channel. All right, can the AI just code this for me? That would be wonderful. So if there is no adventurer, then return 0. Otherwise, it's called power. This should just be perk ID. Otherwise, try to get the perk. Otherwise, return 0. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, cool. So that's power from perks. So your total power is that plus that plus that. Great. Now we need your health and your fortitude from perks. Yeah, that's health. And then fortitude. Then we just need to call this function. So that's health. Total max life is that plus health. And then fortitude is going to be float total fortitude. Let's start with base fortitude. And then total is equal to that. And then set this here. All right, not too shabby. Natural water with a bit of natural flavor, whatever that means. So it tastes a bit like earth or dirt. Okay, I don't know. We just have a filter under our sink, and that's pretty much the only water I drink, and I drink a ton of water every day. In fact, I think there's a... Yeah, this is 1.47 liters. And I usually finish this like a little bit around the end of the stream, something like that. And I refill it and have a little bit more before I go to sleep. Okay, so something needs to call this function. Oh, this takes in a processed items tracker. Why? Also, doesn't the town have that? Processed items tracker. It does, to the point where I'm not even sure we should pass this in. What's that in American? 50 ounces. Yeah. I normally drink tap water. We have the filter, so I'm using it. It does taste pretty good. Tastes like water. Oh, man. All right, we got to call this stat computations dot reflect. Yeah, I guess this will work. And then the adventurer class we want is taken from the battle perk choice. It's not called adventurer, though. It's adventurer class. Cannot convert from adventurer class to node. Oh, no. All right, well, we can fix this. Town.getAdventurer by class. Wait, you might not have the class. If this is null, you can't do anything. Oh, clever. Okay, so adventurer equals this. And if that's null, we just don't do anything. Yeah. All right, that should do it. All right, let's try it out. This will bring us full circle on battle perks. How heavy is it? I'm not sure if you're literally asking like how heavy would this be, the container, or how hard is the tap water? Do you mean like mineral content? Because I think they use hard and soft to talk about mineral content. But anyway, I think it's relatively soft. Like I don't think it's, I think like California has harder water. I think here it's mostly fine. What was I doing? I was clicking this. Yeah, hard. Yeah. Okay, so click this. So we just need to find the same class multiple times. So warrior, let's pick that one. And now we got 10 health. Oh, but it's not gonna, Hang on a second. First of all, did this work? It doesn't tell you. It should be 195 normally. Is that right? If I just make a new game here. Warrior 195. Yeah, it worked. Okay, so we should really break this down in the UI. Did you have another jug? Yeah. I think I have an Atom water bottle or Atom bottle. Wait, where is it? Atom bottle? Yeah, that. But I also have this clip. Oh, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Sorry, I just read the second part of your message. Yeah, you're talking about the clip. We still have that. I only ever used it for that joke. It's pretty much not come in handy since then. Okay, so the tooltips in the adventurer panel need to reflect this. The tooltips in the adventurer panel need to reflect battle perk stats. It looked like it was working, but we need to test it one more time. So 195. I should have looked at that. All right, fine. Let's look at it one more time. This. Just take a picture of this. I'll never forget. There. Done. So here are the stats that we have by default. 195, 10, 6. What I want to test is if I get 2 stat bonuses, do they get reflected correctly when I don't have the warrior? So we don't have the warrior right now. We go to choose battle perks. We might not always be offered the warrior, so we just need to keep doing this until we get 2. And we've gotten 1 so far. Still just 1. Still just 1. There it is. Okay, so now we've gotten 2. Now we unlock the warrior, and they should be at, let's figure out the numbers. 215, 14, 8. 215, 14, 8. Perfect. Well. We've done it all correctly. And it should have worked for the other ones too, but there's no real way of telling that right now. So yeah, make sure we apply any effects you've gotten. Done. I am like super fading out over here. How long have I been online for? Yeah, 6 hours. So let's just chat for a little bit, but I think I'm done working for now. All right, where I left off, I got stats to be applied to adventurers. Need to commit, change the tooltips, and figure this out for complex stats like lifesteal. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, so for those who didn't see, we've been designing challenge mode now for, I think 3 streams, but we've only been working on it for 2 streams. And so far what we have is we have the ability to, well, I'll start at the beginning. We have the ability to enter challenge mode. So you click this. This is just for playtesters for now. So it's just the quickest way to get text on the screen. We did this, like be vocal with feedback, blah, blah, blah. Real players will never see this. They'll see something that looks much better than this. But yeah, you can start a new challenge run. And when you do that, you start in a town that already has some buildings there that would not be interesting for you to have to build yourself. And then you can choose a perk. So you can buy a perk for 50 gold. This doesn't have the right cost on there. We do randomize some perks. We don't have them all coded yet. And you can choose one and it will take effect. And we now have the ability to buy battle perks, but they're all always the same. So we need to vary what they are at some point too. Or maybe, do we? We probably should. I'm not certain how we're going to do that actually. Yeah, vary the stats that we generate. We probably should have classes or data or something behind each perk that tells us how to format the numbers, what to use as localized text, and the stat ranges to generate. Or if it's more complex, some kind of override function. e.g. power goes up based on existing power. Yeah, something like that. Liking a lot how cohesive the art style looks in the backgrounds. Nice job keep putting them together. I didn't do any of that. It looked good. Yeah, I'm not an artist. So I made zero artwork that you see. That is almost entirely Quickie Joe's work based on Super Retro World. So there's an asset pack, Super Retro World, which is pretty much all the stuff you see in the background. This is one of the packs. Where is it? Like this, for example. Yeah, so here you can see the same buildings and NPCs. And then what Quickie Joe did is make all of the adventures we have based on those. So each adventure is like 20 unique frames of hand-drawn sprites based on the existing ones that we had. All the icons you see, all the items that can spawn, the buildings, like a lot of these things are custom and they're all based on the original artwork. And then, yeah, some of the things are just from the asset pack. So like a carrot that was already there. But yeah, I take credit for none of that. But yeah, it's all working pretty well. It looks good and cohesive. Yeah, well, thank you nonetheless. Even if I can't take credit for something, I will pass on the thanks. What can you do in the game? So for what are these platforms? I'm new. So I think taking a look at the Steam page is probably the best way to get an idea of it. And you can also play the demo there. But as a very quick overview, so this game is a semi-idle game. And you send adventurers in a battle. So like I'll send the mage into a battle here. And they fight automatically for you. So this thing's going to shoot a fireball. It's going to kill this in one hit because it's overpowered. And then when you win a battle... Oh, there's a bug here. We're not even getting items right now. Hang on one second. We are getting items. They're just not rendering. What's going on? That's not right. That's not right at all. I don't know what's causing that. Anyway, you get items and then you sell them in your town and you can use the proceeds to upgrade your town and upgrade your adventurers. Why isn't that working? I wonder if that's working in normal mode. Let me try that out. Like if I send an archer into the battle and have them win. Yeah, the potions show up there. It's not working in challenge mode though? Uh-oh. No, now it's working there. What? I clicked grant most things. And I guess I even granted some items and then I won. Yeah, now it's not showing anything. That is so bizarre. Okay, I'm going to write that down too. It's a bug we're going to have to clean up. Fix bug. Enter challenge mode. Click grant most things. Grant items. Then win a battle in the forest. It won't show the loot even though it does grant loot. Cursor reminds me of Warcraft 3, yeah. I haven't thought about those custom cursors in a while. I don't know why that's happening though. Does it happen everywhere? Like if I go here, does that happen? It happens everywhere. What would cause that? It's only in challenge mode? I did the same thing in normal mode, right? And it didn't happen? No, I didn't do the same thing. That's the same thing. Now does it happen? It only happens in challenge mode. Okay, fine, whatever. This only happens in challenge mode. Does it also happen if you don't cheat to win? Is a good question. No. So is it grant most things that causes it? Yes. Okay, so it's just that. So enter challenge mode, click grant most things, then win a battle in the forest. It won't show loot even though it does grant loot. This only happens in challenge mode and only when you first do grant most things. I'm just, yeah, whatever. I'll look into it later. No reason trying to think of it off the top of my head. Especially not in this state. I've been doing too much today already. All right, so here's the plan. Tomorrow, I'll stream in the morning. I tend to only do morning streams on Tuesday just to start my day. I'm not certain what the rest of my plan is for the off-stream time. But as far as battle perks go, we've made a lot of really good progress. I think we can get probably... If tomorrow were a regular work day, we can get the rest of the battle perks done. Such that we could probably get most of this stuff in place by the end of this week, but just not in a condition to be launched yet. Because of this. Balancing this stuff is going to be a mess. Just a total mess. Just an unbridled hurricane of a balancing task. All right, well. Are you asking if I'm in CEST? I think I have a time zone command. Yeah. It's Pacific time, which is currently Pacific Daylight Time, which is UTC minus, I don't even know what. UTC. I am in UTC minus 7 right now. All right, let's go find someone to raid. I don't know. Let's raid Captain Venosa. I like Captain Venosa. Oh, is he playing Practical NPCs game? I think he is. Well, anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Like I said, it'll just be a morning stream. Let's all go say hi to Captain Venosa, who I believe is playing another fellow streamer's game. And I hope you all have a good rest of your evening. See you tomorrow.